Hi guys, today I'd like to make a very personal video. The video will be dedicated to my fears. I don't want you to think that I'm mental. Probably all of us have some fears, but I just made a little summary of mine. I thought uh, thoroughly about it, and, and I counted 9 fears, 9 phobias. Yeah, I even bothered to Google their like official names. And I prepared a list so I won't forget anything. And of course, I will add some short or not so short explanation. Um, well, generally, I think that most of our fears uh, go from our childhood. Probably parents and family um, raise these fears in us. Also, different social issues around us, our relationship with other people, and with the outer world. So, we don't um, come to this world with fears. I think we are born fearless. And unfortunately, life and people around us kinda ruin us as perfect persons. But okay, I don't blame anyone, at least I try to. So, these fears are not in any particular order. And first one is why I can't swim, is aquaphobia. I really like to be in the water. I like to be in the river, in the sea, and even though I care about environment very much, I love taking long showers. But I always experience the same problem. Even when I wash my face, when I wash my head, when I take shower, when I am not fully in the water, in the pool, for example, I always think that I might sink, that some water will get into my nose and it will stop me from breathing. I know it's crazy, but that's why it's a phobia. So I can't fully enjoy my being in the water or somewhere near it. And I clearly remember how my mom and my grandma were anxious um, about me when I was going to the river. Um, they always told me things like, be careful or you will not be back home. They always cared to tell me some very creepy stories, um, and it never helped me to learn how to swim. I was just, more and more scared every time. And actually, my family remained the same. Women in my family cannot swim, and they are all afraid of water. So, my next fear is fear to harm my veins. It can be a part, some sort of injury phobia or traumatophobia. Particularly, this fear began with a very simple situation. When I was small, I wanted to learn how to open cans. And the can opener we had was, well, dangerous. And my mom always used to tell me, don't do it, I will open it myself, or you can cut your veins. And of course I knew that cutting veins can be fatal and, all the bleeding and stuff. And of course, I got scared. I think I learned how to open a can when I was maybe 10 years old, and I was learning to do it when I was alone at home, so nobody could see me and stop me from doing it, and it was really very scary for me. But I wanted to learn because I didn't feel quite like a normal human being. I did not feel independent enough if I could not learn a can opener. And well, um, the principle of these can openers did not change, but cans became worse in their quality, and now it's really difficult to open them, and it's way more dangerous than it used to be when I was a little kid. So this fear is progressing, and of course it goes to um, a, an ordinary knife and anything what can harm my veins there. Also, just anywhere if I see my veins through my skin, uh, well, I get this uncomfortable feeling. I usually don't touch them very often, and of course I'm always cautious not to scratch them or anything. Next fear is sort of connected with this injury phobia, is fear of dogs, or if I found a connect term, cynophobia. Um, yeah, I not just dislike dogs, I'm afraid of them. Because they have very sharp teeth, and I know very many stories again about people whose babies were killed by dogs, and about people who were harmed badly with dogs, by dogs. Uh, and as I mentioned in one of my previous videos, there are very many homeless dogs in Russia and Ukraine. So my chances to meet this very hungry and unhappy dog are huge. I see very many dogs outside when I'm out, and it feels very unsafe. Um, I think once a dog attacked me, but probably it was just some nervous about something, I don't know, but it didn't bite me, but it grabbed my calf with its teeth. But there was no scratch or anything. Like the dog wanted to scare me, but it did not harm me. Still, it was creepy. Um, so yeah, maybe if there are less of homeless dogs, and if people walk their dogs with some protection, then it would be better for my state of mind. So next one is pretty common, fear of height or acrophobia. Oh, once again, it goes right from my childhood when my mom used to always tell me not to go up somewhere because I can fall down and break something. Uh, Probably it was a good thing because I've never ever broken any bone of mine. Um, I was very, very careful all my life. But still, I experience this horrible anxiety when I am at least a little higher from the floor than I'm normally am. Also, I was very tall when I was small. I was way taller than other kids of my age, and even those kids who were older than me. Then at some point I stopped in my growing, um, but still, when I was little, I still was very tall. And, you know, going up for me was even worse because I was becoming even taller than I was before. Plus, all the things that my mom used to tell me. Um, so it's also the reason why I always kept my shoulder down because I was usually uncomfortable with my height. And, any extra height was making me feel very bad. That's why I never used to wear heels and stuff like that. So, you got it. Next one is not as bad as it used to be. It's a fear of germs or mysophobia or bacteriophobia. Once again, my mom told me that I need to wash my hands as often as possible and wash all the berries, vegetables, and all the other food. Otherwise, huge white worms will be in my belly. And of course, it was quite a spooky image for a child. And I used to wash my hands all the time. Um, Once I even got curious how often I was doing it, and I counted during 3 days in a row. And in like generally, it was 30 times a day. 30. I think it's a lot. I usually wash my hands after visiting the bathroom, but somehow I was always doing it also before going to the bathroom, before eating, after eating, before going outside, after coming home. And, like to wash my hands when I just woke up, to wash my hands before going to bed. That's sort of normal things, but, between them, there were also many other times when I was washing my hands, but it wasn't happening unconsciously. There was always a reason. And nowadays, I can skip 1 or 2 or 3 washing hands thing, but I still don't eat fruits or vegetables which I brought from supermarket, for example. I wash them with boiled water. So I'm still kind of cautious about it. Okay, next one is fear of insects, or entomophobia, or simply insectophobia. I don't know where it comes from. At first I thought it was just a disgust, and I was trying to fight with this fear. I was trying to kill ants with my finger, for example, to kill mosquitoes with my hands and look at them, to realize that they're not so scary. But unfortunately, it did not work out for me as I was expecting. And with years, it only got worse. Luckily, there are not very many insects in my apartment. Usually it can be something very tiny flying around. It can be a spider, but it's not so bad. It can be a fly sometimes, but not very often. Outside, it's way worse. I actually enjoy every season when it has an appropriate weather. And you know, like every year, when the spring is especially cold and rainy and windy, I think that it would be just cool to have summer right now, because the spring sucks. It needs to be warm, hot, cool. I mean, not cool like cool, but cool like woohoo, cool. Because in summer it's usually like that. And when summer comes, I always remember why I actually hate summer. I hate summer because of bugs, because of insects. And I can't fully enjoy the season because of them. It's really horrible. I behave absolutely inadequately when I see some insects around me, and God forbid to find one on myself. Uh, I become really loud. And I know that I look like an idiot, and people always look at me like I'm a cuckoo, but unfortunately, I can't do anything about it. It's just too strong, unfortunately. Next one is fear for my eyes or ometophobia. Well, if I remember correctly, I wear glasses since I'm 5 years old. And from this early age, I always had to go through many um eye checks, and uh, doctors always were prescribing me some eye drops. And it was a huge problem for them to, um, well, drip the drops in my eyes. Somehow it was very scary. And unfortunately, it's still like that. In one of the episodes of TV series Friends, um, Rachel got some problems with her eyes and she needed eye drops. And the whole gang had to hold her so the eye drops could reach her eyes. Well, in this episode, this fear was shown perfectly, because I used to behave exactly like that, or even worse. Um, with time, when I got a little older, I learned to drip those eye drops in my eyes myself, and I had my own method. I used to close my eyes, then put a drop in the corner of my eye, and then I started to blink. Not always the drop could make it to the eye, but I always had another try. And well, because of this fear, I can't wear contacts. People on internet always suggest me to wear contacts, but actually I have really big problem to touch my eyes, and I can't stand anything in them, even if it's some dust bit or an eyelash, and God forbid if it is even bigger than an eyelash. So contacts are not for me. I know that I won't be able to put them in, to put them out. It will be a real catastrophe. Um, Probably it's because I was told when I was very small that I should take I should take care of my eyes and be very, very careful, because if something that happens, I can lose my sight and it would be like forever. Well, I still can see things, luckily, but this fear just not going anywhere. I just live with it. Next one, oh, it's my favorite one, social phobia or social anxiety. Oof, I used to do this thing and I still do it. I just love it. Every time when I make some mistake, when I do something wrong, or I don't do anything, I play this scene in my mind an hour later, next day, or during all my life. I play it again and again and again, and I try to analyze it and think of different scenarios, like what I should have done, what I should have done, and why I behave this way and not that way. And well, this sort of analyzing really led me to thinking of me as a person who usually does something bad and who feels awkward. And it was like one thing after another thing, one led to another, and somehow I ended up as well, absolutely like closed person. I remember that when I was small, I can't say I was friendly, but I was more open and I could talk to people. I could play with kids and it was normal for me. And with time, I was becoming more and more social awkward. And then it turned out to be a whole phobia. Like I'm always concerned about people judging me or me doing something inappropriate. People like making fun of me. People thinking different things. I mean, things which differ from what they say. So, like me being like a fool. I don't know how to explain this. You can actually read an article on Wikipedia. Once I read it, and it was absolutely about me. Read about it, social anxiety. If it's the same in English as I read it in Russian. Yeah, it's actually not very funny because it feels like, well, half of my life was totally screwed up because, because of this fear, I wasn't brave enough to do something, what I could do, and I don't know, probably become more popular, more successful, but I was too afraid to make a mistake, to look like an idiot, um, and stuff like that. So that's why I feel quite comfortable working online with the help of internet, my laptop. I don't need to go outside. For me, it's a whole stress to even go outside. So not even go to the shop, just going outside, seeing my neighbors, saying hi to them, especially when they don't reply. It's like for a person like me, it's so bad. Like, oh my, they pretend like they didn't see me, but they saw me, but they ignored me. Yeah, and then I think about it all the day. So for me, it's better not to contact with people at all. In internet, it's different. It's easier, way easier. Yeah, in real life, super hard. But more or less, it's understandable. So there's the last one. It's, well, I probably have to read what I wrote in here. A fear of not being able to see what happens in the future, what inventions will come, how future will look in all the aspects. And well, it can be some sort of chronophobia. I'm not very much afraid of time passing by because, I was too smart for a kid. When I was super small, like before, before I went to school, preschool, um, I realized that time flies, and I should appreciate, if not every minute, if not every day, but at least my certain age, and not dream about becoming an adult, becoming a teenager, um, like dreaming about summer when it's winter, and vice versa. So I think I uh, lived like that. I always tried to appreciate any age, even if it was super awkward, uh, and probably if it was not the best time in my life. But I still was trying to take the best of it because it's still my life, it still counts. And yeah, about the future, I'm not afraid to die. It's kind of scary to not know what happens after life. But I'm more concerned about what I won't see as a live person, um, as an alive person. Okay, doesn't matter. Um, I compare our modern life with what it used to be, and it's such a huge difference. It's unbelievable. People were sending letters, and now we're we're making virtual reality. We're using internet and phones, and it's just so normal for us. I can't even imagine what it will be in the future, like how crazy it will be. And it's so sad, and it's so scary to know that um, I won't have idea till I die. And probably if I'm some sort of a ghost, only in this case I will be able to somehow follow the life. Um, but what if not? What if there are no ghosts, and my soul is not really a soul, and it's, well, as I usually think, it's some sort of energy, but not actually like human beings, so just energy. Well, if I'm just energy after I die, then it's really sad. I won't see the future. It's scary. I don't think I would like to preserve my brain, or heart, or my whole body. Um, but probably technology will be way better in the future, and it will be possible to bring back to life people who will somehow freeze themselves now. Mm, well, if not, at least they tried. So I want to live as long as possible. And that's why I'm so scared for my life and so scared of water and heights and so on. Um, I will try to see as much as possible. And also that's why I like to travel. I like to see different things, different people, try different food if possible. Um, so if I go to some modern countries, I will probably see a little bit of future in our countries like South Korea or Japan. I believe they live in some sort of future. So I hope I will be lucky. But yeah, generally it scares me. So that's my list. If probably you have some questions, you can ask them. If you have some comments, feel free to write them. If I forgot something, I probably won't add anything. I will leave it like that. But if I have any new fears in the future, I will let you know. Okay, thank you for watching this. Oh my gosh, such a long video. Thank you a lot for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Bye bye.